Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing the front pages of the paper and we're moving on to the Punch. Major headline: hunger protests loses steam as DSS grills 7 foreigners. The police crackdown halts protests. US-UK demand dialogue. Northern governors relax curfew. And Sanusi blames Kano looting on intelligence failure. Oh, exactly what I said. Moving on to other stories. Crude oil crisis. National Assembly to probe NNPC Dangote refinery. CBN dumps 12 months foreign policy with 876 million auction. Fuel queues may linger till next week. That's from marketers. Nigeria urges ECOWAS defense chief to curb coups. Olympic gallant the Tigress bow out in quarterfinals. EFCC quizzes Ogun officials over government fund, and power generation hits 3-year high of 5,000 megawatts. I don't understand. How did we have a shutdown just a few days ago and then it's hitting a 3-year high of 5,000 megawatts?
They overgenerate.
Did they overgenerate? Fantastic. Let's continue.
I have the Senate to investigate. National Assembly said to probe the NNPC and Dangote refinery. So the leader of the Senate and the chairman of the Senate ad hoc committee on, what's this? They didn't state. But Senator Okoyemi Bamidele said that we will investigate the alleged economic sabotage in the NNPC, in the Nigerian petroleum industry. Miriam, did I take your story?
That's fine.
They give me side eye.
Go ahead.
Well, I took this story first.
That's fine.
Well, so they had a meeting on Wednesday, yesterday, at the National Assembly complex where the Senate leader was talking about it. And in that session was the Minister for Finance, Mr. Wale Edun, the GMD of NNPC, Mele Kyari, the Chief Executive of the Nigerian Upstream of the former DPR, and a lot of them, stakeholders in the industry. And the Senate leader was decrying the $1.5 billion that was, allocated for the maintenance of the Port Harcourt refinery under the former President Muhammadu Buhari. And he said, even though this huge amount was spent, no result is showing. And you can see the long queues that will continuously suffer presently now at all our filling stations for a country so blessed as us. He said, we also have a hand at a grievous issue of national concern that directly borders on the importation of hazardous petroleum products and dumping of substandard diesel into the country. He continuously talked about how this money marked then would have changed things. He said 1.5 billion for the turnaround maintenance of Port Harcourt refinery, yet this investment did not yield returns. And he insists that they will do everything possible as a committee to investigate this. And he insisted nobody is untouchable. He said the task of ridding the petroleum industry of malfeasance is urgent, and we must, the petroleum industry of malfeasance is urgent, and we must be carried out in the spirit of nationalism and patriotism. And said we are ready to carry it out with all sense of honor and responsibility. I cannot wait. I am hoping that this is, sincerely, honestly done.
Okay, they're also saying that they would like for this to be broadcast live so that we can hear. NNPC is also saying that, yes, they want it live so that they feel that they've been accused of too many things so that people can know exactly what is going on. I'm looking forward to it too, and I hope that it will be done in all honesty, yes, and sincerity.
I feel like it's linked to the fuel queues lingering longer. Who has that story?
I have the story. So the fuel queues may linger till next week. So they asked the question. They said the National Publicity Secretary Chief Ukadike Chinedu was responding to the question. He said the process is still ongoing. So filling stations and trucks are not functioning optimally. This is because of the fear of attacks on stations by protesters. He said during the NSAS, when the trucks and this moved, that they were burnt down, and some filling stations too were burnt down. So to avert all these things from happening, he said they just have to wait, and also that they also had security agents who had advised them not to go ahead and give filling stations petrol for now, that it will attract protesters to the stations and they may start looting and burning at the same time. So they are saying that by next week, that most filling stations will have petrol, and then the queue will subsidize a little bit. So let's see how that goes.
EFCC has invited some officials of Ogun State government in connection with an ongoing investigation. And it was after I'd finished reading it that I thought I should have taken another story because there's really nothing to it. It's been confirmed by the Ibadan zonal office that yes, some officials of the state were invited to chat in respect of an ongoing investigation and they have gone home. And then when the spokesperson for, I think, they also tried to contact the special advisor on media and publicity to the governor about it. He says he's currently out of town and not aware of this investigation or meeting. That's it.
End of story. Sadly, the Tigress lost at the quarterfinals. I was really hoping that they would get to...
It's okay.
Yes, because they did well. They were very gallant, you know, but life happens. But we're still very proud of them, and I really would love for the president and the presidency to celebrate them. So moving on to the Vanguard, major headline. Stay clear of our internal affairs. Federal government warns foreign powers. We've taken that story already. Reps committee chair denies giving 1.7 million bribe to Speaker Abbas. We've taken that as well. Federal government spends 600 million on fuel importation monthly. That's from the Minister Edu. UK assures Nigerians of safety amid riots. Well, we are yet to determine that. So who has what story?
Okay, well, I have the Minister for Finance, Wale Edu. He said that the country currently spends $600 million on fuel importation, and this was at the event yesterday. And the Minister for Information said that the Bola Tinubu's administration's primarily focus was not to impose hardship on Nigerians, addressing all of the issues that they came with. And I was wondering, 600 million on importation, and we pretend we don't know. We took the 900 million importation of food every quarter several weeks back. And the minister said fuel subsidy was removed on May 29, 2023 by the president. The poorest of 40% was only getting 4% of the value, meaning that the subsidy paid was not serving the poor man. And he said that the situation was the reason why the president had to remove it. $600 million on fuel importation monthly was too expensive to run as a government, and so they had to take a tough decision. Okay.
So the UK people telling us that we are now safe.
Okay. Is that in the Vanguard?
Yes.
Vanguard.
Don't take Telegraph.
New Telegraph.
Fantastic. So let's move on to New Telegraph then. Yeah. Major headline. We're taking the story about the hardship story, which is all the hardship protest and what has happened so far. That's the major headline in New Telegraph. But we have other stories about the fact that reps earn 600,000 naira monthly, not 900,000 naira monthly. Apparently that came out. Chairmanship, I didn't bribe speaker with, we've taken that story, $1.7 million. Benue PDP summons Suswan, ex-speaker, others over misconduct, anti-party activity. We're not part of the economic sabotage, NNPC, NMDPRA, others tell Senate. Drinking water from plastic bottles can increase blood pressure. That's a study. And in other news, Tinubu appoints governing council for 13 federal universities and institutions. Majority of Nigerians not benefiting from fuel subsidy. APC, weak institutions slowing down renewed agenda reforms. And Nigeria presently under civilian dictatorship, says Onovo. So what do we take now?
I definitely took the plastic story. Scientists have said beverages that are packed in plastic bottles should be avoided based on study findings showing that it may increase blood pressure as a result of microplastics entering the bloodstream. They said that the planet has been polluted by a number of things. One of them is microplastics, that's small particles of plastic found in vast majority of food and water supply. And they're saying that they're the most harmful substances affecting human health adversely. So, and once they get into your bloodstream, they've been linked to heart health, hormonal imbalance, and even cancer. So be careful of plastic packaging for your food and drink.
Please pure water, I'm sure.
Stuff.
All right. I have the British envoy, the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, received our the CEO, the chairman and CEO of the Nigerian Diaspora Commission, Honorable Abike Dabiri, yesterday in Abuja, and he reassured that Nigerians were safe in the UK amidst the riot. He also mentioned that 12 British towns were affected by the riots, and that reported that 400 people have also been arrested, and that 60 special courts were created, including the UK police and legal operatives have been established to address, the issue. So those 400 people will be immediately tried under a special court instead of usual delays of court processes. He also assured that the United Kingdom was home to people of different countries and races and would remain liberal to qualified persons who wish to live and study and work in their country. He also mentioned that 430,000 Nigerian visa applications were successful this year, and I had to come a direct number, but the NIDCOM boss confirmed that no Nigerian has been affected by the disorder, adding that the communication with the British High Commission and diaspora groups had reported no casualties. So I'm grateful for the work of the Madam.
At least updating us.
Yes. I took the story of power generation that hit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I took the power generation because I even saw on Twitter somebody posted that I've started putting off my freezer, that the light is...
I'm not understanding. No.
You
don't have light for 2 days.
2 days until, don't you used to put off freezer?
But there's...
I used to put it
so
on.
the Minister of Power...
on and off.
So the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, has announced that Nigeria's power sector generated 5,105 megawatts of electricity on July 27th, describing it as a 3-year high. He announced it at a meeting. He also said that this is an improvement from the previous capacity of around 4,000 megawatts or below. He also said that their targets, the target he wants to achieve is he wants to get to 6,000 megawatts by December. He also said that power is not something that should be left alone to the Ministry of Power and its agencies. So now they are now working closely with the Ministries of Environment, Water Resources and Sanitation, Budget and Planning, and Petroleum Resources, particularly the Minister of State, Gas. He now said we are focusing on generating power in a sustainable and environmental-friendly manner. Okay. This is why we talk about renewable through solar, wind, and small dams.
Fantastic. So moving on to Nigerian Tribune. The Minister, NNPC, Dangote, others take fights before Senate panel, and we're expecting to see that broadcast, as they have said they will do. Federal government spends 600 million monthly on fuel importation. We've taken that story. Let me find a story we haven't taken. Nigerian rates 6th globally, first in Africa in tuberculosis prevalence. You know, when I first saw Nigerian rates, I thought something positive was about to happen, but it's not. So NNPC, NYSC declares Akwa Ibom coordinator driver missing. Shetima Obasanjo Southwest orders to attend Osun Industrial Investment Summit in September. Army begins investigation. Detained soldier over killing of 16-year-old boy in Zaria. Sad story from the mother saying, my son just finished writing final secondary school exam. And it's such a sad story, but we're happy that the speed of trial within the military. So who has the story on tuberculosis? Okay,
the Women Development Initiative held a meeting with the NUJ in Bauchi yesterday, and they said that Nigeria was first in Africa in terms of victims of infected with tuberculosis and 6th in the world globally. They also had the statistics to show that in 2023 we had 486,000 cases of tuberculosis and 320,000 plus, that's 66% of it, were notified, while the others were missing. So usually they come in, they're diagnosed, they disappear, don't follow up with treatment. So the director of tuberculosis at the Bauchi State Agency for Control of HIV and AIDS, Malaria, Tuberculosis and Leprosy, Dr. Yakubu Gida, mentioned this. I hope that they have something to show on how we respond after this news.
It's such a sad thing because tuberculosis is completely wiped out in some other countries of the world, and they were still dealing with it, and we're number 1 when it comes to Africa.
You know, we play with
and we've had several interventions concerning this. Sadly, that's what we can take on Newspaper Review today. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll go into the hot topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.